Listen up, Bear Nation, because what's about to go down at Hollis Hall is going to decide whether we're real contenders or just another punchline in the NFC North. We've got three massive stories breaking at once on this roster, and each one could completely shift the future of this team. First, we've got a cornerback who went from making just over $1 million to being projected at $50 million. A guy who led the entire damn NFL in interceptions, and the Jets are circling wow. We're sitting $10 million in the red on the salary cap. Second, there's $15 million just waiting to be freed up in the linebacker room. And a 37-year-old vet who just had a career year might be the perfect fit for what Dennis Allen needs. And third, the most brutal decision of them all. Do we trade away our most productive receiver to protect Caleb Williams with an all-pro tackle who already knows Ben Johnson's system? Ryan Poles has to make these calls now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because if we screw up even one of these three moves, we can kiss our Super Bowl hopes goodbye. Stick around till the end, because we're breaking down each of these situations and what they really mean for the future of the Chicago Bears. After years of watching this team get torched in the secondary, after watching us get burned on third and longs over and over again, we finally found someone who could flip games with his hands. I'm telling you right now, Nashin Wright is the biggest story of the three, and if you don't believe me, let me explain why this situation is critical for the future of the Chicago Bears. This dude came to Chicago on a $1.1 million deal. Folks, 1.1. He was a low-risk flyer, a guy who bounced around the league without finding a home. 4 years in the NFL, 1 pick, 3 starts, nobody expected anything. But Dennis Allen saw something nobody else did, and now, after a season where he led the NFL with 5 interceptions and 11 pass breakups, Spotrick has him projected at $16.7 million per year on a 3-year, $50 million deal. Let that sink in. This guy multiplied his value by 16 in one season. From a depth piece who barely saw the field to one of the most productive corners in the league. And here's what's got me sweating. Bear Nation, the New York Jets are lurking. Fox Sports has them as the top suitor for Wright. And you know the Jets have money and desperation, a dangerous combo in free agency. Aaron Rodgers needs help on defense, and the Jets are ready to open the checkbook. I think they'll pay whatever it takes to bring Wright to New York. But here's the million-dollar question. Can the Bears afford to pay $16 million a year to a CB2 when Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon are already eating up cap space? That's the harsh reality. Folks, Johnson's getting CB1 money. Gordon just got extended. And now Wright wants to be paid like one of the league's best. And you know what? He's earned it. The guy produced. 5 picks isn't luck. Wright's got ideal length, elite ball skills, and the kind of confidence top corners have when they're tested. Every time opposing receivers came at him, he answered. Every time we needed a clutch turnover, Wright delivered. Remember that game against the Packers in Week 11? Wright had 2 picks, including the one that sealed the win. Remember the win over the Vikings? Wright forced a crucial fumble in the 4th quarter. This guy was a huge reason we made the playoffs, a key piece of that takeaway-driven defense. But here's the nightmare. Ryan Poles is stuck in an impossible spot. On one hand, Wright was the heart of that takeaway defense. On the other, Chicago is $10 million in the hole on the cap. Let me say that again, minus $10 million. No wiggle room, no margin for error, and brutal decisions to make. And here's what's driving me nuts. If we lose Wright, who replaces him? The article mentions Alontae Taylor, a guy Dennis Allen knows from New Orleans. Taylor's 27, in his prime, and projected at $33 million over 3 years, $17 million less than Wright. But let me ask you this, is Taylor the same kind of ballhawk Wright proved to be? With Allen in New Orleans, Taylor posted 110 total tackles, 41 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 picks. Solid numbers, sure, but not 5 picks in one season. Not 11 breakups, not game-changing plays, I think. Taylor's a solid player, a guy who knows Allen's system and could plug in quickly. But can he give us those 5 game-changing interceptions? Can he be that ballhawk who rattles quarterbacks? That's the question Poles has to answer. Other options, Eric Stokes, who's battled injuries in Green Bay, Roger McCreary from the Titans, a young guy with upside but no proven production, Josh Jobe, steady but unspectacular, all projected at $9 million or less, all cheaper than Wright. But here's the core issue. We're talking about replacing elite production with bargain bin options. And in this league, you know that rarely works. The Bears have spent years trying to find cheap corners who can play like stars, and how often Has that worked? I'll tell you, almost never, and you know what's the most frustrating part? Wright feels like a true bear. Doesn't matter that we didn't draft him. The guy played with the heart of this city, gave everything on every snap, celebrated every pick like it was the Super Bowl. You saw him at the Pro Bowl, repping Chicago with pride, and now the market might rip him away because we can't compete financially. So I'm asking you, Bear Nation, is it worth breaking the bank for Wright? Or is it smarter to let him walk, use that money elsewhere, and hope we can find another diamond in the rough like we did with him? Because that's the reality. No easy answers, just tough calls. And here's what scares me most. If the Bears lose Wright without a solid replacement plan, that takeaway defense that carried us in 2025 could fall apart. Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker are also free agents. We could lose 3 key pieces of our secondary in one offseason. Poles needs to make a call now. He can't wait for free agency to unfold. He needs to know if he's fighting to keep Wright or letting him go. Because if he's letting him go, he better have Taylor or someone else lined up and ready to sign. No gaps allowed at that position. If that caught you off guard, wait till you hear this. While everyone's focused on the secondary, there's a bomb about to go off in the linebacker room, and it's got Tremaine Edmunds' name on it. And folks, this decision might be even bigger than the Wright situation because it involves $15 million in cap space. After years of watching linebackers who couldn't cover or tackle in space, we finally had someone who could do both. Herb Howard from the Bigs Media said it straight on 100 for .3 the score. The first name that comes to mind is Tremaine Edmunds, right? Just look at his contract and the lack of guaranteed money left. Could they replace him? And I'm telling you, that's a legit question. Edmunds had a solid 0-5, led the team with 112 tackles, added for picks and 9 pass breakups. He was the quarterback of our defense, making pre-snap calls, adjusting coverages, keeping everyone locked in. But here's the issue. His 2026 cap hit is $17.4 million. And the Bears can free up $15 million by cutting or trading him. $15 million. On a team that's $10 million in the red. You see where this is going. Poles is looking at those numbers thinking, I could use that $15 million to shore up other spots. I could sign a left tackle, bring in a pass rusher, maybe even extend Caleb Williams early. That kind of money opens doors. And here's the wild part that's got me fired up. Greg Allman from Fox Sports says Demario Davis, the 37-year-old linebacker from the Saints, is likely to sign with the Bears. And you know what that means. Dennis Allen and Davis go way back. Allen was his DC in New Orleans in 2018, then his head coach until mid-2024. Let me give you Davis' numbers under Allen from 2019 to 2023. 1 first-team All-Pro, 4 second-team All-Pros, 2 Pro Bowls, and over 100 tackles with double-digit tackles for loss in every season. He also had at least 4 sacks in 4 of those 5 years. And here's the crazy part. Davis just set a career high with 143 tackles. At age 37. 143 at 37. How many linebackers in NFL history are playing at that level at that age? Ray Lewis retired at 37. Brian Urlacher at 34. Patrick Willis at 30. Davis is defying the odds, but there's more to it. Davis has played in 227 regular season games, but only 5 playoff games. With 2 wins, the guy deserves to finish his career with a contender. And the Bears, folks, we are a contender now. We've got Caleb Williams. We've got Rome Oduns. We've got a defense that creates takeaways. We're exactly the kind of team Davis wants to finish with. Allman says Davis has multiple suitors, but the Allen connection is undeniable. And I'm telling you, if there's an opening in Chicago's linebacker room, Davis is gonna want it over any other. He knows the system, knows the coordinator, and can make an immediate impact. Now here's the million-dollar question. Is it smart to replace Edmunds, who's 29, with Davis, who's 37? I think it is, and here's why. First, Davis knows Allen's system inside and out. No learning curve, no adjustment. Period. From day 1 of training camp, Davis can run the defense. Second, the guy's still playing at an elite level, ranked 6th among off-ball linebackers by Pro Football Focus this season. He's played over 1,000 defensive snaps in 6 straight seasons. That's durability. That's consistency. That's exactly what you want in a linebacker. Third, and this is key, Davis likely signs for less than Edmunds' cap hit, giving the Bears financial flexibility while keeping high-level production. I think Davis signs for something like 2 years, $20 million, with most of it front-loaded. That gives the Bears cap relief while still getting elite play. But you know what I love most about this move? Davis brings leadership. He's been a captain. He's won awards. He's been through the wars. In 2022, he won the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award. In 2019, he won the Bart Starr Award. This is a guy who leads by example, who lifts up everyone around him. And on a young team like the Bears, that kind of experience and locker room presence is worth more than any stat. Imagine Davis mentoring our young linebackers, teaching them how to read offenses, how to prep during the week, how to stay cool under pressure. That value is priceless. So I'm asking you, family, do you stick with Edmonds? Younger but more expensive, or do you roll with Davis? A vet who knows the system and brings elite play and leadership? Because that's the decision polls might be facing in the coming weeks, and I think the answer's clear. Bring in Davis. Free up $15 million and use that money to strengthen the rest of the roster. And just when you thought we were done, here comes the craziest part. While everyone's locked in on the defense, there's a decision on offense that could define Caleb Williams' future. What do you do with DJ Moore? And folks, this decision is directly tied to the chance to bring in an elite left tackle. After years of watching our quarterbacks get smacked around, after watching Justin Fields run for his life every Sunday, we finally have a franchise QB in Caleb Williams. But what's the point of having him if we can't protect him? What's the point of having weapons if our QB's on the turf every 3 plays? Bill Barnwell from ESPN didn't hold back on the NFL Daily with Greg Rosenthal podcast. The Bears could get a 3rd or 4th round pick for Moore this offseason. A 3rd or 4th, folks, for a receiver with 608 catches, over 8,100 yards, and 41 touchdowns in his career. But here's the context you need. Moore's cap hit in 2026 is $28.5 million, and the Bears could clear serious space by trading him. Barnwell broke it down perfectly. $40 million over 2 years isn't WR1 money anymore. And if he's on the roster this offseason, $15.5 million of his 2027 salary becomes fully guaranteed. Let me be clear, Moore's been solid for Chicago. His best year came in 2023, 96 catches, 1,364 yards, 8 touchdowns. He was the hero in both wins over Green Bay, including the divisional round where he caught the game winner. The guy's produced, been a pro, done everything we've asked. But here's the brutal truth. The Bears have Rome Odunze, who had a strong rookie year and is only getting better. They've got Luther Burden III, a first-round pick in 2025 with explosive upside. They've got Colston Loveland, a tight end who can be a real threat over the middle. Do you really need to pay $40 million over 2 years to a WR2? And here's where the left tackle situation changes everything. Ozzy Tarpilo tore his patellar tendon in the wild card win over the Packers. That's a brutal injury, usually takes 6 to 9 months to recover. We don't know if he'll be ready for week 1 in 2026, and we don't know if he'll be the same when he comes back. Sports Illustrated floated the idea of targeting Rasheed Walker from Green Bay in free agency, which would be ironic given the rivalry. But Ben Devine threw out a fascinating idea that's got me thinking. What if the Lions cut Taylor Decker for cap reasons? Decker's a Pro Bowler, 10-year vet, first-round pick in 2016. And he's been Detroit's starting left tackle since his rookie year. The Lions could free up $18 million by cutting him. In December, Decker said he ideally wants to play 1 more season, but he's also thinking about retirement. Devine tweeted, "It'd be intriguing for Chicago to sign him for 1 year. And I'm telling you, it's more than intriguing, it's brilliant." Let me explain why this move makes so much sense it hurts. First, Decker knows Ben Johnson's system, played under him in Detroit, knows the blocking schemes, knows the protections. No learning curve. From day one, Decker can protect Caleb Williams' blind side like a seasoned pro. Second, Decker brings experience. He's played in the playoffs, protected QBs in high-pressure moments, knows what it takes to win in this league. And for a young QB like Williams, having that kind of stability at left tackle is priceless. Third, and this is where it gets genius. Imagine this sequence. You trade Moore, free up $28 million. Use part of that to sign Decker for 1 year, say $12 million. You've still got $16 million left to address other needs. You could sign a pass rusher, extend key players, or build a financial buffer for the future. Do you see the chess move here? You give up Moore, a solid but replaceable WR2, and in return, you get elite protection for your franchise QB. You protect Caleb Williams with a left tackle who already knows your OC's system. And you still have money left over to improve the roster. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. Decker won't come cheap. And for a team that needs to cut cap space, not add new commitments, this might be a luxury we can't afford. Plus, Decker's thinking about retirement. What if he signs and then calls it quits after 1 year? What if he gets hurt? You're putting a lot on the shoulders of a 34-year-old. Here's my full take. Family, the Bears are in a unique spot. They've got a franchise QB on a rookie deal, an open championship window, but they're financially boxed in. More versus. Decker is the perfect example of that tension. Do you sacrifice proven offensive talent for elite protection, or do you trust your young receivers and use the draft to find a tackle? I think it all comes down to how Poles values protecting Caleb Williams versus giving him weapons. And I'll say this, in today's NFL, protecting your QB is everything. You can have all the receivers in the world, but if your QB's on the ground, it doesn't matter. Look at the Bengals with Joe Burrow. They've got Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, but when the O-line fails, the offense collapses. Now look at the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. They've got the dominant O-line, and even if their receivers aren't the best in the league, the offense works because Hurts has time. That's the lesson the Bears need to learn. Bear family, let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this after everything we just broke down. Which of these 3 decisions do you think is the most important for the future of this franchise? Is it keeping Nashan right in his game-changing takeaway ability that transformed our defense? Is it the move from Edmonds to Davis to free up cap space while keeping leadership and experience? Or is it the more versus Decker decision that could reshape how we protect our franchise quarterback? I think they're all connected, and here's why. If Poles loses right without a solid replacement, that takeaway defense that carried us to the playoffs falls apart. Those 5 picks, those 11 breakups, they don't just grow on trees. You need a ball hawk, someone who can read the QB, break on the ball, and finish the play. If he doesn't make the Edmonds to Davis move, he doesn't free up the space needed to address other holes. That $15 million could be the difference between signing a key free agent or settling for a bargain. It could be the difference between extending a core player or losing them next year. And if he doesn't solve the left tackle spot, whether it's Decker, Walker, or a draft pick, Caleb Williams is going to spend 2026 running for his life. And we can't let that happen, not after what we saw with Justin Fields. Not after years of watching our QBs get crushed because the O-line couldn't hold up. These aren't isolated decisions, Bear Nation. They're pieces of a puzzle that Poles has to put together perfectly if we want to compete for a Super Bowl during Williams' window. And that window is now. Williams is on his rookie deal, which means we've got cap flexibility to build around him. But that won't last forever. In 2 years, Williams is going to want a monster extension. In 3 years, we'll have to pay Rome Odunze. And for years, Luther Burden's going to want his bag. The time is now to make bold moves, take calculated risks, and build a roster that can win it all. So drop your answers in the comments. Do you pay right or let him walk? I want to know if you think it's worth breaking the bank for a proven ball hawk. Or if you trust Poles to find another hidden gem. Do you trust Davis at 37? I want to know if you believe a veteran linebacker can still bring it, or if you'd rather stick with the younger, pricier Edmonds. Do you trade more for a pick and sign Decker? I want to know if you prioritize protecting the QB over keeping offensive weapons, or if more's just too valuable to let go. I want to hear your takes. I want debate. I want this community to get involved because you are part of this Bears family. You're the ones who suffer every Sunday when we lose. You're the ones who celebrate every win like it's the Super Bowl. This is your team as much as it's mine, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications. Because every day I'm bringing you deep analysis, exclusive news, and the unfiltered truth about your team. Don't miss a single video. Because this offseason, every decision matters. Every move counts, and I'll be right here breaking it all down with you. Tomorrow, we're diving into the Bears draft strategy, what positions they should target, whether they should trade up or stockpile picks. The day after, we're breaking down the free agent market, who makes sense for Chicago, who's a money trap we need to avoid. This offseason is crucial for the future of the Bears, and I'll be here every day, bringing you top-tier content, analysis you won't find anywhere else. From someone who lives and breathes navy blue and orange, from Chicago, with all the love for the navy and orange, with all the respect for the monsters of the Midway tradition, with all the hope that this is finally our year. I'll see you in the next video. Bear down, family. Bear down, always.